You did it, and I sat here quietly.
It felt like the start of podcast of your I don't know how to say that. It felt like when we were first like when you
Oh.
first joined the Whatnauts and I was still like figuring out my computer and how to stream and all of that
Mm-hmm.
stuff, and just everything would go wrong every single time, right? That like you opened up Skype, your sound wasn't working. We finally got that working, and then we
Yeah.
hit stream, and it was like, yeah, that's not your stream key. And I was like, yeah, right, bitch, it is. And I had to like redo the
Mm-hmm.
entire thing, and it took me like 5 minutes to get Firefox to work.
Ooh.
Feels bad, man. Um, Melissa,
Yes.
what's your favorite flavor of ice cream?
Oof. I don't know. I'm a variety player. I like them all. Uh,
You're what is it? The Neapolitan or whatever it is.
that is a literal flavor, and I guess as the metaphor you're trying to use it as, yeah. Wait, can I only pick from the big three?
No, you can pick
Okay. I
whatever
thought
you
you were
want.
telling me like I'm limiting you. No mix-ins, no toppings. Throw mint out the window. No mint for you. I like a mint chocolate chip. A cookie dough can be pretty great. A cookies and cream. Oh, everything. I've never met an ice cream that I was like, no,
Would
thank
you
you.
would you ever eat an ice cream flavor called everything? Just like how they have everything bagels,
Yes.
you would. So
Yes. Is
it's
this a
it's like
trick? Is this going to be like the Birdie Bots every flavor beans and I have to eat like grass?
well, no, I'm not that bad, but like end of the day when like the courts that or whatever are like almost done, you can scrape
Oh,
out the extra stuff,
okay.
but then you just start all piling it into one
Yes.
big thing, and then maybe you do the cold stone thing where they like mix it up some more. Would you eat that?
I
Does that sound or would that be too much? That be appetizing?
Yeah,
I don't
I
know.
don't know if I'd appreciate all of them if you mix them all together. Like, butter pecan and peanut butter cup might just kind of get lost in there. Would I taste the butter anymore?
Is there actually butter and butter pecan?
I have no reason to believe there isn't.
There you go, folks. Journalism. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Captain's Log. This is episode 61. My name is Kyle
Mhm.
Springer, and I am joined, as always, by Melissa Wilkinson.
Yes, it's me.
Yeah. When was the last time you had ice cream?
I had ice cream Sunday night. I had frozen custard. One of my friends told me this
There
local
you go.
stand up in our neighborhood, their flavor of the month was salted caramel, which is
Ooh.
a common flavor, but she says they did it really well. If you can get up there in the next couple days before the month
Nice.
ends, I recommend it.
Good
So I went with
stuff.
my mom, and I treat myself to an ice cream pretty frequently, her much less. So she kind of forgot about how big an ice cream is. And she's like, 2 large cones, please. And they're like hell mountains. Hell mountains we have to eat all of because they're cones. You
Yeah.
can't put half of the cone away for later. It was, I wouldn't do
mean,
that much again. No,
Technically,
thank
you
you.
could if you get a to-go cup and just stick it in the to-go cup, and then the cone is like a little hat.
There's
A little
too
ice
many people around. It's too
cream
crowded. They,
hat.
they hand you your cones. They're on to the next folks.
I'm asking you this because I had some ice cream right before we
Yeah.
came on to do the podcast.
Ooh.
But yeah, I had Cold Stone.
Good.
But here's the thing. I didn't like go to Cold Stone or do any of that. I had
You
it
got the
delivered.
free- You had it delivered?
Yeah.
What?
And I had it delivered a couple days ago, and to justify getting it delivered, I bought a lot.
Okay.
So I spent like $30 on ice cream.
$30.
And so I have just like it's not even worth it. I was just so hungry and I wanted ice cream, and it was so good, and I have a big sweet tooth.
A cotton candy in each hand.
And yeah, right. And I just was like, I need to get some ice cream. So I bought like a big thing of cream,
Mm-hmm.
which was mint chocolate chip with brownie bits in it, like
Ooh,
fudge
choice.
brownie bits. So that's fantastic. And I also bought a milkshake the day that I bought it too. It was a cookies and cream milkshake. Oh, there you go. That's how I spend my life.
You really live large. I ate 2 corn dogs today.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, well, they are the frozen ones from Trader Joe's, and they're
Sure.
not that big. So if you're gonna cook one, you might as well cook 2. But then
I
you've eaten 2. I think these are
I've
truly made for like a family and
I've
not
never
just
really
one
been a
woman
corn
alone.
dog person.
I like both corn and dog.
Sure. Yeah.
It has been my long-standing goal for about the last 10 years to eat a
Uh-huh.
corn dog in a pool. I haven't done it yet.
Is there a specific reason
I don't
that
know.
has
I just want
inspired
to.
you to be like, you
Soon
know
I shall
what?
be queen of summertime.
I aspire to eat a corn dog in a pool.
In a pool. Yeah.
That's
Oh,
it.
well,
You know.
when I had access to friends' houses that had pools, we didn't have cars yet, so we couldn't go get us a dang corn dog. Frozen corn dogs weren't as readily available like a decade ago. I think the world has fallen in
Yeah.
love with the carnival eat more since then. These are you can get them in your grocer's freezer. Back then it was trickier.
Can we get funnel cakes in the freezer and not just make your own? Like, hey, here's how you. Can I get like a
God, it ain't
package
gonna
of
be.
funnel cakes?
No, it's not gonna be worth it. Like, don't even like theoretically you could, but it's a shadow
I,
of
I'm
what it
I'm not.
once was.
I agree with you. I'm not saying we should or anything like that. I was just you had said that we had fallen in love with this carnival food. I always think
Presumably,
of
somebody's got to
funnel
have
cakes.
one. I don't know where you'd go for it to find a frozen funnel cake, but again, absolutely plausible.
I feel like you could find them at Trader Joe's.
I've been there. There
They
ain't that
seem
many things.
they
I've
seem
seen
fancy
them
enough
all.
where they would have like mini funnel cake cookies or
Okay.
something like that. I
Yeah.
don't know. Weird stuff. But yeah, I spent $30 on ice cream just so it could be delivered to me. Those are the choices I'm making in my life.
I never get anything delivered. I always go get it. I think I had a pizza delivered once because I had a gift card and because I was like in the middle of one of my Skype RPG sessions. Like I can get a
Okay.
pizza delivered in the middle of the session, but nope, I make myself put the work in. I get into the car. I put real clothes on, get into the car, drive the car, beep beep, go to
Mhm.
the place, pick it up, save me the dollars, make myself go out there and be alive.
There you go. You're really living life when you go pick up a pizza.
I am, yeah. They're always nice.
So
I've never been into a Domino's that wasn't.
I was spoiled when I moved down to Richmond
Uh-huh.
for college. My apartment building was literally right next door to the Domino's,
Ooh.
and so I lived on the 18th floor,
Oh
and
boy.
yeah, and I would just order it for pickup, and I would go downstairs and be like, all right, I'm gonna go get my pizza. I'd walk out in like my pajamas and stuff and just go next door.
Mhm.
So that was fantastic. But then I guess I usually stick with Domino's. That's my like go-to
Yeah.
delivery.
Good crust, the
Yeah,
nice personality.
sure.
I I don't know, like, when they first came out with that tracker and you could add the different themes to the tracker, I remember that being a really big deal. Like,
it's
everybody wanted to order Domino's so that they could watch the tracker because it was
That's
brand
my
new.
kink. I feel like that just watching it go doot doot doot.
There's, like, the themes, like, the romance novel one where it plays like
I
big
actually haven't.
sweeping violins.
I haven't played the different themes. I've just
What?
stuck
You've
to the
stuck with
regular one.
regular?
Yeah,
Wow.
classic.
No, next time you get you a pizza delivered,
I want
or
to find
I
the
think this
romance
also
novel.
works for carry out. They have it all the time. Put the tracker on. They should still have these themes in the browser. I don't know if it's in the app, but it's in the browser.
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
Huh. Interesting. You can get everything delivered nowadays. There's
I'm
cookie delivery
cookie
places.
delivery. Yes.
That's something I usually do on my birthday nowadays. Is I'll just buy myself 12 cookies and they'll deliver them to me and I'll get some milk.
Oh, cute.
Food is good. And having food delivered is the best. And if someone wants to sponsor us,
Yeah.
you should hit us up because you guys should give us some discounts on all of that stuff. Melissa,
Yes.
I finished Neon Genesis Evangelion
You did it. The whole thing.
this week. Yeah, I've been rewatching it since it came out on Netflix, and I have been listening to like the companion episodes that
Oh,
Waypoint
yeah.
Radio has been doing, and they've been fantastic. And I just watched the end of the show and then the end of Evangelion. Excuse me.
Mhm.
The end of Evangelion movie
Yes.
to go along with it. But oh boy, that show is something else. That is,
It has consistently remained something else for the last 20 years, and that's really admirable.
yeah. This is a show that I both really love and I'm really frustrated by. It's
Yeah.
very problematic. Just it's just filled with so much stuff that is confusing and doesn't make sense and isn't handled adeptly at all. And
Mm.
but at the same time, there's an earnestness to it.
Yeah.
So have you seen the show
I watched the
at
first
all?
handful of episodes of it in college, but I
Okay.
was in college and my brain was already full. So I
Okay.
didn't really watch anymore because I knew it was like homework. It was just more homework for me to do.
Okay.
It's
Uh,
too hard.
so I'm not gonna go into it too much, but the kind of backstory is that the creator Hideki Anno,
Mhm.
um, he was going through like terrible
Mm.
depression when he made this show, and so he's really trying to work all that stuff out in the
Oh.
show, and it's hard to watch at times because we're like just characters are doing terrible things and it's this weird thing of you don't know if it's this like honest I don't know what's going on, how fucked up am I really
Mhm.
kind of thing, or if he's just like I remember I read a book on Freud once, we should explore that. And it's just like, well, that's okay, you're referencing that, but you're not doing anything with it of meaning. Like, it's such a frustrating show.
Mhm.
But I absolutely loved listening to Waypoint's podcast because there was a handful of them that all watched it together at the
Uh-huh.
same time, and they did a number of episodes on. They would watch like a handful of episodes and then do a podcast dissecting that stuff, and then they'd go
Mhm.
back and watch some more and stuff like that. A couple of them had seen the show before and had seen it multiple times,
Mhm.
and then a handful of them had never seen the show before. And so it's this idea of like, if we could just sit here and like rewatch Lost with someone and like point out all the amazing things in this, and
Mhm.
like, oh, but there's this, and did you notice that?
Yeah.
It's like that. Um, but at the same time, them also being like, yeah, there's some really neat stuff in here, but God, just you wait. this is gonna get this is gonna get yeah. And you can see their excitement be like, man, I'm really liking this. There's some things that I don't like. That was a really strange scene. I wonder where they're gonna go with that. And then just by the end of the show being like, I fucking hated this show. This was
much like
I
Lost.
hate, yeah. So it was fun to relive that.
That's a good special feeling to like see somebody like they're in line for the ride. And it's like, oh, friendo, you don't even know what kind of ride it is.
You
You
are
don't
in
know
for a
what
ride for sure.
animatronics are going to jump out at you. You don't know what twists that roller coaster takes.
Yeah.
This is me
Or
every time anybody I know watches Lost for the first time. It's
I
like,
I I
oh,
remember
honey, get ready.
when my old roommate got into Lost, he binged the whole thing in like a
Mm.
month. But he was going through it so fast that I never really got to talk with him. Like after he got done with season one, I would have loved to be like, all right, so what do you think? What do you like? Who do you think the others are? What is happening? What is the sound in
Mhm.
the forest? Did you notice that it was the same sound as this other thing that happened?
Mhm.
Did you know? Um, and I finally got to do that with my ex when we started dating. I was like, the one thing I'm gonna make you watch with me is Lost. And she goes, I never saw it. I was like, perfect.
Ugh.
We can sit here and watch this, and it's gonna be great. And she ended up really liking the show, but probably more so for the experience of having someone there who does really like the show and can
Mhm.
point out both the flaws and the like, look at this is really cool, look what they
Yeah.
did here, this is awesome. So it's so much fun to
Mhm.
do stuff like that.
This week, I have been watching Doom Patrol.
You have, so you
Yes.
you kept up with watching the stuff on DC Universe then.
Yeah, yeah, we watched Titans last week on the review show, and the Doom Patrol are in one of the episodes, and I loved them immediately. First
Yeah.
time you just see that big old robot face, I loved it, and I said,
Mm-hmm.
"More of these guys." And so I've started watching the show, I'm like 4 episodes in.
Okay,
Boy, howdy, it's gold tier. It is. Get
that's good to
yourself a
hear.
DC Universe for Doom Patrol exclusively. That alone will pay for it. The
There you
rest of
go.
the stuff on there is good too, but Doom Patrol, what a treat. What a good treat.
So what about the Doom Patrol show are you liking so far? Is it at all different from what was in the Titans,
It
or is it
is.
kind of the
Have you
same?
watched it yet?
No, I have not.
Oh, it is a little different than what is in Titans.
Okay,
Uh Like, there's some new characters, some of the characters that are there are just, like, a couple shades different. Like, the Titans really acted like this is a backdoor pilot, and then the thing's, like, fully formed by
sure.
the time actual Doom Patrol starts. It's so w weird. Like, you
Yep.
think it's weird, and then I just got to episode 4 where it introduces this cult, and then
Oh
Mark
yeah.
Sheppard shows up playing this wizard? Question mark. And then it's just like, "All right, we're gonna throw all of it at you."
Yeah, and then reality goes out the window, right?
Yeah. Yes, yes, we've already been through a wormhole that is inside a donkey, we've been to Paraguay, we've been in a 4-hour puppet show, we've
Yeah,
been everywhere. It's so bonkers, but it's got such heart to it. Like, the character relationships are the best part of the whole thing, the
yeah,
relationships and the backstories, which again goes back to Lost, is one of my, like, pivotal stories in my life,
sure,
like, I see this thing when I'm 14, and it's like, "This is the template for everything else you will love for the rest of your life."
sure, yeah. No, so I remember reading Grant Morrison's run
Mhm.
on the Doom Patrol comics. That's my only like um thing that I know them from.
Uh-huh.
Uh, and that was the thing where it was like, yeah, it's really surreal comics and storylines, and they
Yeah.
do some really strange stuff, reality bending. I don't know what's real. We're fighting a living street and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, yeah, it was kind of about these really broken characters and them
Yes.
just like trying to, I I guess, like reach out and find connections
Mm-hmm.
and
Yes.
stuff, because they are the freaks. Like, they are characters that are like, well, they like, this is like Negative Man. He doesn't really exist under there. So how does he even really exist at all? What does that mean for him as a person, or something like
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
right? So is that the same kind of thing in the show, where like it is these super
Yeah.
broken?
Like, what does it mean to be alive?
Yeah,
What kind of life am I living now? What do I do with it? Do I stay where I'm safe inside this house? Do I venture out in the world? What if the world doesn't like me? Like, very big questions.
yeah. Now there, I don't remember his name. He was in the Doom Patrol very briefly in Morrison's run. I think they got rid of him very quickly. Uh, I don't remember his name at all. He was a character that did, like, whenever people were around him, like, things went wrong. Have you met a
No,
character like that at all?
not in
No.
the first 4 episodes, but I
Okay.
think there's 15
He's
episodes of this.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
If they do have him in the show, he's not gonna be a like a main or important character. But I just like, it's that kind of stuff where like they had characters like that. Like, it's not X-Men like
Yeah.
characters where they have a useful power or stuff like that.
No, they're
Like,
just weird.
oftentimes they have these like really strange or just unhelpful
Mhm.
like afflictions,
Yeah,
almost.
yes, afflictions, exactly.
Yeah. Um or just like the sense of like impending doom, that no one cares about them, and like the world has moved
Mhm.
on or like hated them.
Yeah, there's this sort of melancholy, like, gothic feel to the thing, and, like, they're in
Okay.
this old mansion, and it's,
Yeah.
like, not always kept up very well, and they're just all lying around there slowly decaying, whether physically or
Yeah,
just, like,
that's it.
mentally and emotionally,
That's
yeah.
it, exactly. Yeah.
Mhm.
Good stuff.
Yeah, I
And
like it a lot. I also started watching Swamp Thing.
that's what I was just about to ask you about, if you had started watching that one, cuz that season is still going
Yes, I
too.
think maybe by now the final episode has released on the app, or
Oh,
maybe
I
not
should
the
look that
final
up.
episode. Oh, I forget. We were looking at it and like a lot of episodes were there and there was one that said like 5 days left. And I don't remember if that would have been the last one in the order or not. Yeah, I only watched the first 2 episodes of that. I just wanted to get a taste of it, and I'm gonna finish all of Doom Patrol and then finish off Swamp Thing. Swamp Thing's really interesting. It's such a strong horror show,
Yeah.
and it has a lot of influences from John Carpenter's The Thing in
Good.
it.
Good.
Like,
So,
the
speaking of Swamp Thing, sorry to interrupt
Mhm.
you. The last episode came out today, the
Okay.
day we are recording this, August 2nd, 2019.
Go
So,
watch you all of Swamp Thing. I
there you go.
recommend
Yeah.
it. The practical effects are great. Both of these shows have way better effects than Titans did. I'll
Good.
tell you that much.
Good. Um, So, funny enough, a friend of mine also happened to be watching Titans,
Mhm.
like right before we started it, and so I was like, "Hey, we're covering it on the review show. You should go check it out." And the first thing she asked me is, "Did you talk about Dick Grayson's chest hair?" And I was like,
No.
no, like I didn't even notice his like, that's not something that like registered for me. So I did you happen to notice Dick Grayson's chest hair?
I'm sure it definitely registered with me in some format, as all men's chest hair does, but I'm not remembering any specific takeaway from it. I was mostly looking at his face. It's a good
Yeah,
face.
like that's like it's not even a detail that I noticed of like if he did have chest hair or if he didn't, or if it was in a shape or if it was a bat symbol or something. Like I just it didn't register for me at all.
I'm gonna have to go back and watch this now. What's there? What clues are we missing?
Right?
So I told you recently that a friend and I are rewatching the Twilight Saga of films,
Yeah, you did.
and you've at- you at least know what the actors look like. You have
Sure.
seen Edward Cullen. You've
Yeah.
seen his face, his shiny, smooth porcelain marble sparkly face.
Uh huh.
In the first movie, I think maybe the first two movies, they have Robert Pattinson's chest all shaved. He happens to be shirtless in both of these movies, of course he is. They don't shave his arms, and it's really distracting because I would imagine like if you'd go that far to have like a perfectly immaculate chest, like arms are right there, buddy. Like why not go for all of it? And it's so
Right?
clearly just like the production team was like, we didn't think about the arms. Well, he's got to be out there on set in 5 minutes, so we don't have time for him. Like it really seems like just such a production
Well,
oversight.
so I know that there are people out there that do like shave their arms or wax them or something like that. Uh, but I feel like that's not a thing a lot of people think about most of the time. Of course, there's exceptions, but like if this is going to be like the teen heartthrob movie, like I feel like that's a weird thing to just like shave or wax him completely. But like I feel like the chest hair is the one that if he had that, it would have been like he's not a teen heartthrob. That's a
Okay,
man.
here's the thing. In the third movie, I don't think he takes his shirt off in the third movie. You
But
can
he
see
has
some
it.
chest hair coming up out of like the top of his V-neck shirt or
The little
whatever.
boy's
I'm like,
growing up.
he's frozen in dang time. He's been like this since 1917. Why did they just give up on it now? I guess Robert Pattinson's like, don't stop shaving my chest. This is annoying. When it grows back, it's prickly and I don't like it. But
If
just
you
like,
were
and
if
he's still got that perfect, absolute, not a speck of grizzle on the man, just
right,
smooth porcelain china teapot face, and
that's so
but
funny.
not for the rest of him. Like just the disparity of face immaculate. There's not a follicle there at all. Rest of the body, absolute crapshoot. Who knows?
So I have a question for you, Melissa.
Yes.
And you made me think of this at just as we were talking about it. If you were immortal,
Uh-huh.
if you have roamed the earth for thousands and thousands of years, do you think you would stick to more traditional like beauty standards? Like, would you continue to get haircuts, or would you just be like, fuck it, I'm gonna be some like ethereal immortal being that is just like cousin it from and it's just like this big
You
like
know how
hair
ethereal
monster.
he is.
Right? But just like I mean,
Tilda Swinton,
he
Kate
is
Blanchett, cousin
otherworldly.
it.
He is otherworldly, but not in the same sense of like, oh,
Yes.
that's a fairy, or oh, that's an elf. Look at Legolas as he skimps through the trees. It's not that kind of
Yes.
otherworldly. It's the like otherworldly from hell.
No, I don't like to get lazy about this.
Because
I like to think of myself as having personal standards, and of course, everybody's are different. But like, yeah, I do shave my arms. I want to be like a beautiful dolphin when I go out there in the world.
sure,
I want to be pretty. I
I feel
imagine I'd
like
want to
I
be
would
pretty
go
for
above and beyond.
centuries. You would.
I don't think I would just let myself go. I think I would be more into like buying fancy outfits and like like having some like weird top hat and a cane and like looking like I'm like
Yeah.
from 1920s England. I think that would be a lot of fun.
So you just want to dress like you're an immortal, like clearly you're from outside of time and place
Like I'm
with a
some
top hat.
Victorian England vampire that hasn't
But
moved
here's
on.
now hold on. Now are we immortal starting like now or have we been immortal and like you and I together right now are like 1500 years old? Cuz the idea of you turning immortal now and being like, "Well, I'm immortal. I might as well also be Victorian here in the year 2019."
I say now. Like, what if we just get immortality now and then just because
What?
that's the thing. Like it like if it starts now, there is this like period of like self discovery almost
We
right
are a good
where
age to be immortal. I feel like, oh yeah, 28? That's a good age to freeze yourself at. Not that I want to. The idea of living forever truly, truly haunts me.
it'd be a weird thing. But
I don't
like at some point you just have to not give a fuck, right? Just like uh, I don't care what people think of me. They're all gonna die, and I'm just gonna go on living. I like who cares if I'm in some like purple suit and top hat, right? If
Yeah,
if
but
I
there's something
cosplay permanently
impressive about
as
that.
the Riddler or that guy from the infomercials that had the suit that was like made of money back in the 90s.
Yes.
Like, if you
Yes.
want help with your taxes, buy JP Wentworth or whatever
877
his
cash now.
name was. Yeah.
Ron Swan.
I feel like I would want to just do stupid stuff like that. And just like, I am going to be that guy.
Like you have time in your life to live in every state for a year. And
Sure.
you
More
move to
than a year.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We'll say a year just to make it neat. So you move to Georgia for a year. Who knows if you won't be back in Georgia for like another 50 years almost.
Sure.
49 years. Let's say your year 1 starts with Virginia where you are now. So you're not going to come back to Georgia for like decades. No, who's going to remember you, right? So you might as well live it up while you're in
Yeah.
Georgia. And you're just going to be the Riddler because who cares? You will see these people for a year and then decades
The
later,
Riddler went down to
you'll
Georgia.
you'll wander back in looking precisely the same, like an immortal. Kyle, have you heard of Judy Zipper?
No.
Okay, so you know the rumors, it's like not rumors, but like joke conspiracy theories like Keanu Reeves is an immortal. Look at this
Oh, yeah.
old painting and there's a
That's
guy
not
who
a
looks
joke.
exactly like
Keanu is an immortal. We all know that.
he is ethereal. He is among our most ethereal men.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
there's a woman named Judy Zipper. Look her up.
I'm gonna
It's
Google
this
her right
it's
now.
this woman from the 1950s. It's this old black and white like yearbook photo and she looks exactly like Leonardo DiCaprio.
Uh, she kind of does.
What do you mean she kind of does? It's the same dang face. That was her on
Their
the
noses
Titanic
are
holding up Kate Winslet.
their noses are incredibly different.
Well, she doesn't have contouring. They didn't have it then. Oh, here's
I
another
don't know,
picture of more immortals. Dang.
right?
Dang, there ain't nobody who looks like me.
What's your favorite conspiracy theory?
It is Judy Zipper.
It is her.
I, she's one of my favorite things to tell people about. I don't think I've ever run into anybody who knew about Judy Zipper beforehand. I don't remember where I learned this.
This is really funny. Leonardo DiCaprio is actually a housewife from the 50s.
Hmm.
Zipper.
I believe in Judy Zipper. There's whole bunches of them. Look, like there's like some, I don't.
Oh
I'm not
yeah,
able to tell ages. There's like an old guy who looks like Nicolas Cage, or like,
I see one
there's.
here of Eddie Murphy.
Oh, I want to see old Eddie Murphy. Yep, there's the painting that looks like Keanu Reeves. I need just one of these to be real.
right?
Like, I more than I need aliens, maybe not as much as I need ghosts, but more than aliens, I need at least one celebrity just be like, "Yep, I am an immortal. This is why I'm good at it. I've been alive for 300 years. You put me in this Civil War period piece, I was there."
So funny.
Dang, that guy
There's
does look like Eddie Murphy. Here's a painting that looks like Rupert Grint. No, man, I don't look like anybody. One time I was walking around
I mean, maybe you did and they just never got their photo taken, right?
oh, that's haunting to me. I look like some lady who didn't live in camera or painting times. Nobody
Or
ever
yeah, or just
sketched her like a
was
French
not,
girl.
yeah, was not rich enough to commission some portrait.
This is upsetting. One time I was walking around the Loop, which is a local shopping and dining district,
Ooh.
and a guy stopped me and he says, "You look just like that lady. I don't remember her name. Like the actress. You look just like her. Anyway, have a nice day." And then he kept on going. So I look like somebody. And I'm like, okay, which plus size blonde woman are you going to say? Is it Rebel Wilson? Is it Melissa McCarthy? Which fat lady are you about to say next? And he's like, you look like the actress. And he just kept going. I'm like,
I
whom?
I
Who am
wonder what
I?
was going on in his mind as
Who
he was
am
saying
I?
that. Like, was he genuinely excited to be like, "Oh my god, you look like that person"?
It was just like in a, sort of friendly passerby way, like, "How's it going? Boy,
Or
ain't it
like,
a
"Hey, I
warm
like that
day out here
shirt
today."
way," like or
hmm
that kind of thing. Huh?
one time I was walking down the same street, and I had a hat that I had gotten out of the back of a friend's car. Don't worry about it. And printed on the hat is it's like a tuxedo T-shirt,
Right,
which makes sense when you print, the shape of a tuxedo on a T-shirt because that also goes on your torso, and so it looks like you're wearing a tuxedo.
right.
This was the exact same concept, but on a hat,
So
which makes no
it
sense.
was just a picture of of a tuxedo
It's the
shirt.
exact thing that would be printed on a shirt, but it is printed on the front of a ball cap.
Dumb.
So I'm wearing this thing and I'm walking down the street and this guy like sitting outside a cafe or whatever starts like or maybe he was like a street entertainer or whatever. Whether he was actually drumming or just like tapping on a table, I don't know. But he's singing at me, "Got a tuxedo on your hat. Got a tuxedo on your
Okay.
hat. Got a tuxedo on your hat."
That's so funny. Let's see here. I think my favorite conspiracy.
Mhm.
I don't know. I guess the one that's coming to mind that I was talking about to a friend recently is John Teeter,
Yes! I love John Tater!
the time traveler.
Oh,
And I only know of this because of anime.
anime. What anime is this?
Steins Gate.
Of course it is.
It's Steins Gate is one of my favorite anime, and it's a time travel show, and it is one of, if not the like most well researched time travel show I've ever seen. And I like time travel stuff, so I like to watch all of that stuff. But they use John Teeter. He's kind of one of the characters in
Ooh.
this, or they adopt that name
Yeah.
into their canon, to, how to speak. Um, but the first time I watched that show, I didn't know that was like referencing a real thing, and I
Yes.
found out later on, and I was like, holy shit, that's kind of
It's
cool.
it's such a it's such a great story, and it's one of those things. It's like this is almost certainly like a hoax. This is just somebody who was a speculative fiction writer and was like, "What if I frame this like I'm just writing on
Um,
this message board as a real time traveler from the future?"
Supposedly multiple investigations have all concluded that that's what it is,
Mhm.
according to the John Teeter Wikipedia page. Uh,
But it's a great story, and I love the
it
fact that he's
is
like, "I came back because in the future" it's like there's this old computer that we still rely on.
the
There's an old
IBM
computer.
5100,
It was,
which
like,
is
set
also
up.
a plot point in Steins Gate. It's
It's like this
fantastic.
old computer that was set up to run the world in like the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, whenever. And it's still working in the future. It still runs something very, very important, but it is failing and it requires a part that nobody makes anymore. So they have to send this one guy back to like 1998 on a web forum. And he's like, I need this one computer part.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
I just love
I love it.
spooky old analog technologies.
Yeah. No, you should really watch Steins Gate
It
then
sounds
if
cool.
you like it, because yeah, it's all about time travel. They do incorporate all of the John Teeter stuff,
Mhm,
um, and they end up their time machine is not like, oh, we're gonna send this person back in
mhm.
time or something like that. They end up making their time machine out of a microwave and a cell phone.
Uh-huh.
And again, instead of sending a physical object back in time, they can send information back in time. So they
Okay.
send like 40 characters of a text, like
Okay,
back to
yes.
someone who has a pager or stuff like that.
Yeah. You've either
Um,
told me this before or this is kind of how Ars Paradoxica also works.
I forget where Ars Paradoxica went with their time travel
Yeah.
stuff, but they also had some good stuff in there too. Um, but yeah, eventually they get to the point where they get enough data. They're able to send enough data back that they can send like I would say it's someone's consciousness, but I feel like that's the farthest stretch of the
Yeah.
show. It's more of like they have a specific thought or specific memory that they send back, which even still, it's like, how do you extract that one memory? But oh well. But it's good. It's good. It's
Good.
fantastic show.
Kyle, you wrote something on our topics list that just says Crime Diaries, the candidate. And I
Yes.
can only guess that this is another television program.
Yeah. So
I know how much you love crime shows.
I do love me a good crime show. Um, Netflix. Guess like we talked about on a recent episode of the Reactor Core, which you can find at
Mhm.
thewhatnauts.com or just by searching the Whatnauts wherever you get your podcast. Um, it should be up by the time this goes
Mhm.
live. But I watch a lot of foreign content on Netflix
Mhm.
too, and so I got a Netflix suggesting to me this show called The Candidate, and it looked pretty neat. It was this Spanish show. It was
Okay.
a crime show. It looked like some political crime murder mystery thing, and I finally checked it out this past week, and I really liked it. It's only 8 episodes long.
Mhm.
They're usually about 40 minutes ish, but the last one is only like 32. It's a
Huh.
super short finale. Um, but as it turns out, this is all based on real events.
Real crime.
Yeah. Uh, it, and the series is about the assassination of the Mexican presidential candidate, Luis. What's his middle name? Let me just look this up for you. Let's see. Netflix Crime Diaries.
Kyle, this is the
Uh,
second time recently you have been trying to remember a man named Luis and you can't totally do it. Do you remember in our episode on Quantum and Woody, you're like, who's that one Hispanic character actor? And you
Luis
spent all this
Guzman.
and I'm like,
Luis
I can't.
Guzman.
Which one? Who?
Which Luis? Um. Okay. Let's see. Let me open up this guy here. Where is the Wikipedia page? Wikipedia. Wikipedia, do your thing. Wikipedia, do your thing. Yeah, so it is a Spanish language
Mhm.
crime web television miniseries.
What
Must
does
have,
that even mean?
I don't know what that means. Maybe it aired in Mexico somewhere else first. But let's see. This
Mhm.
follows blah blah blah. The plot is inspired by real life events with real life footage intercutting
Oh,
with the drama, and
interesting.
resolves around the assassination of the assassination in Tijuana of presidential candidate Luis Donaldo Colosio from
Mhm.
Mexico's ruling PRI party in 1994.
Mhm.
The series follows a pair of detectives and Luis's dying widow, Diana Lara, as they investigate and unravel the truth. Yeah, it's short 8 episodes. It's a fascinating story. I didn't know anything about this or that
Mhm.
it that this even happened in history. Because our school system doesn't teach us cool things like this.
Like a
Um,
murder.
yeah, tell me all about the murders in history. That would be fascinating. Like a history class taught through murder. That would be amazing.
You could do it.
Or yeah, like a whole bunch of famous murders. That would be awesome. Um, but yeah, so they as it said here in the little Wikipedia description, they like inter they like stitch in the like actual news footage of all the stuff happening, like with the dramatization
Mhm.
um of this whole thing, and it's really neat to see.
Ooh.
Yeah, and it's not a documentary. It is not
Uh-huh.
a dramatization in the sense that, ooh, this is kind of cheesy. They're
It's not
know,
unsolved mysteries.
right. It's not that at all. They
Mhm.
actually took this as a TV show and made it that, and it's acted really well. Um, and it's fantastic. I highly recommend it.
Okay.
What I
Interesting.
did not know though is that
Uh-huh.
apparently, I think Crime Diaries is
Comes with more crimes?
well, as the name would imply, uh, if there's more than one diary.
Mm.
Yeah, that there's another show. I got done watching this one, and of course, it immediately recommended me like Crime Diaries Night Out, and
Night out.
and I was like, what is that? And apparently it's the same type of thing where they're taking a crime, this like murder mystery thing that happened in real life, and they've
Mhm.
turned it into an 8 episode TV show. And I'm again wondering if they like interstitch in the like real life footage of the like news coverage and stuff like that. That would be
Mm.
fascinating if they can like keep making these. But
Yeah.
it seems like an anthology series,
Mhm.
which is neat. What are your thoughts on anthology series?
As a general structure
Yeah,
and format,
yeah.
uh, I like them fine. I don't know if I've really seen that many of them. A Twilight Zone is great. I think I've seen a small amount of amazing stories.
Have you seen any of the like Black Mirror stuff?
I have not seen a Black Mirror.
Black Mirror is definitely good too. Um, this is an interesting one because it's not just a one episode thing. It's like,
Mhm.
hey, here's 8 episodes all dedicated to this one story. We're
Mhm.
gonna make it as if it's just like a one season TV show.
Okay, like American Horror Story.
Yeah, yeah, more like that. Um, but I've noticed that if this continues and they keep doing that, Netflix has Crime Diaries. They have the Black Mirror stuff as they've started to branch out and do
Mm.
more stuff. Like they had that interactive one on
Yeah.
Netflix, the Bandersnatch one.
Mhm.
And then Hulu has one called Into the Dark. I don't know if it's like mini series of like a TV show stuff or if it's like feature length movies, but it seems to be like horror focused of like, hey, here's this horror movie under the umbrella of Into the Dark, but each one is it's like a new story.
Oh, yes, yes, I remember these commercials, yeah.
Yeah.
There's one that's like a tree house and yeah, a couple different setups.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is coming back to me now.
And so I don't know if that's an episodic thing or
Yeah.
if those are movies. I'm not a big horror nerd, so I was like, I don't care about those
Mhm.
ones. But I think that stuff is starting to catch on. Maybe that you
Yeah.
can have a brand and then like use that to give different creators the spotlight to do
Mhm.
something else, right?
Yeah, like it's a different not just a different like director, writer every episode, like completely different cast each episode.
Yeah,
It is a way to how many people can we get in here at once?
sure.
There's too many art people. They all
Yeah,
need a job. Let's make an anthology instead of a more traditional narrative program.
exactly. I hope that stuff continues to take off. Good
Yeah,
stuff.
they're neat to hear about. There's one anthology series I really dig. I couldn't think of it at first because it's not a TV show, it's a podcast.
Oh
It's an
yeah.
audio drama podcast called Uncanny County
Okay.
that's
Yep.
really like it's like a Twilight Zone, but instead of like this is a cautionary tale, the real monster was man. It's more just sort of interesting, kind of whimsical, like sci-fi fantasy stories.
Huh.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Uh, so you just asked me that about something I had written down here. You tried to explain Marvel's Phase 4 to your mom. How did that go? I see that written down here, and I have to be honest, I did the same thing to my
Oh.
parents because I had gotten them into all of the
Mhm.
Marvel films and I made them watch them all in order. Um, and so yeah, I was like, oh, they just announced all of this stuff. Here's what's happening. Here's what's happening with that. How did it go with your conversation?
Okay. Okay. So I know my mom doesn't really care,
Sure.
but doesn't not care. The thing about my mom is that she will watch whatever you put on, honey. Like she
Okay.
has I do not know her favorite TV show. I don't know if there's ever been a TV show she has followed, if there's ever been a movie where
Interesting.
she's like, "I wanna go out and see that." Her favorite movie is It's a Wonderful Life, which is standard for most moms, you know? Like, I don't know her
I mean, it's a
tastes.
good movie.
It is, but, like, it's like saying my favorite food is pizza.
I, look,
My favorite
okay,
color is red.
ain't nothing wrong with having your favorite
Exactly.
food
There's
be
nothing
pizza.
wrong with it, but there's nothing illustrative about it. It's not like, now I've really learned about you. You know?
I am offended. My favorite food is pizza.
Lots of people's favorite food is pizza. That's the point.
It's shaped like the food pyramid for a reason. Damn it.
But like I can't pinpoint her tastes if she has them. She just will watch what you put in front of her quietly and politely.
Okay.
So she has seen, I think, most, if not all of the MCU movies at some point because my dad likes them. Like,
Okay.
my dad's like a definite movie guy. Like, I know things he loves, I know genres and actors he loves, and my mom is just also in the room watching too.
Sure.
So who knows? No, she does like Ant-Man. We brought up Ant-Man once, and she said,
Who
I
doesn't like
like
Paul
it.
Rudd?
Exactly. It's like, I like Ant-Man. He's cute. And like when we went to see Toy Story 4, there was a trailer for that Dora the Explorer movie with Michael Pena, and
Uh-huh.
she's sitting there in the
Like, oh,
theater and
that's
just
the guy
says,
from Ant-Man.
yeah, she's like, I like him.
He is good. I like
She
him too.
does like things, yes. So Marvel has
He's a
been
good
among
boy.
yes, yes. Marvel has been among the things she has liked in the past.
Okay.
So while mom and I are driving to go get ice cream, we've got a couple minutes to kill in the car, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna tell mom about all these new movies because I'm super excited about them. And I've been telling her recently, we don't know what's happening next. They're gonna tell us soon.
Yeah.
Mom, it's almost Comic Con. Well, what's a Comic Con, dear? Where's that? Who? So along those lines. It's like this is the phase. So I went through the whole roster, starting with Black Widow. I'm like, oh, there's going to be a Black Widow movie next May. That's the next one coming out. We have to wait until May to get a new Marvel movie. And she says, who is this? Is this a new African American heroine? And I realized, oh, they never call Natasha Black Widow within the actual films.
Nope.
If you're just a mom, you don't know. You only know her as Natasha.
I'm wondering if they call her Widow at some point.
I presumably
Do
once or twice,
do
or
they
like,
on Winter Soldier at the start when they're invading the boat? Does he
oh
use a
yeah,
code name with
it might
her?
have come up then. It might have come up when she first showed up in Iron Man 2. I think it has
Huh,
been used, but it is not used enough that just
I don't
my
remember.
mom has picked up.
Right, sure.
That's this lady's name. So I had to explain that. No, it's the redheaded lady. You've seen her before. Now she gets her own movie.
Natasha Romanoff.
Hawkeye, she knew. And I'm like, I guess they don't call Hawkeye that much either. And she's like, no, but I get it. I see how he is a Hawkeye. I see how he's kind of like a bird.
I'm like a bird, I only fly away.
as he is known to do, I guess. And, oh. I was trying to explain Eternals to her, which is an abstract thing to explain to another person that actually knows what's going on.
Sure.
It's worse to my mom, and I'm like, they're, and she's also like very Catholic, so I'm trying to explain they're like gods, mom, in a way that
Oh,
like,
no, I'm not gonna see that
in a way
movie
that will
then.
be palatable to her. And I'm like, you've seen Guardians Volume 2. You remember Ego, the living planet, how he's kind of this big celestial.
Godlike
Yes,
being,
yes.
yeah.
This, and she's like, ah, that man. Well, he was a man in the movie, not really a man. I guess that's what you're talking about. I didn't like him, and I'm like, that's okay. The Eternals, I think, are nicer than Ego. Don't worry, mom. so
That's great.
she does not approve of Ego. But then I get to Loki, and she's
Does
like,
hold on a sec. Does
yeah.
she? I guess I feel like I already know the answer to this, but is she not a fan of Kurt Russell?
Oh
Like
no, she
as an
loves
act?
Kurt Russell.
Because
I think
I was gonna say like, yeah,
she doesn't
I
like
think if
Ego
I
because
asked
he
my
killed all
mom,
those children.
oh sure, like I think if I asked
Oh yeah,
my
the
mom
children
to
that
like
died.
it would be more thing of like, oh, I love Kurt Russell. I thought he did great in the movie, but she wouldn't really comment on like the character that he
No,
played.
mom remembered that he killed all those children, and she's evidently still mad.
How does she feel about Darth Vader?
Oh, I don't know.
Or
I've never asked her.
Anakin Skywalker. Does
I don't know
does
if
she
she
like
knows.
little Annie?
I don't know if she knows that has happened. I don't know if she has not seen any of the new Star Wars movies. Didn't I must have told you this one time that I was telling her about the Oscars ceremony that I was watching a couple years ago.
Okay.
I went over to a friend's Oscars party and she was asking me, "Oh, did you have a nice time? Did you like the show?" I'm like, "Yeah, I had a pretty good time. I got to see a lot of actors I recognize present awards. Like, I saw this person and Oscar Isaac." And she stops me and she says, "What's an Oscar Isaac? Is
You
that a
have mentioned
robot?"
that. Is
Yes,
that a robot?
the Oscar
That
Isaac. The statue they turned into some sort of cyborg man and named Isaac.
so that actually kind of reminds me
Yes.
of something that happens a lot on the Rooster Teeth podcast. Gavin Free,
Uh-huh.
who you may have seen as one of the slow-mo guys on YouTube,
Yes. Yes.
he will often just say something that sounds really dumb. And just like, why would you even like think of that? and not in offensive way, but more of just a dumb way.
How did
Like,
you get there?
yeah, like how did you get there? And
Mhm.
they've gotten to the point where they've stopped him
Yes.
whenever he will
Yes.
say something like that, and they will try to make it a game of like, okay, he just said this. Let's figure out how we get from here to that. And they always end up getting there, and it always ends up being a lot smarter than it thinks. I'm like, oh, you're actually right. Like,
Okay.
this is not that bad.
It's a legitimate metaphor.
So here's what I think of when your mom says Oscar Isaac. Is that a robot? Isaac Asimov is a
Exactly. Yes.
prolific sci-fi writer,
Yeah.
and yeah, so I would think of, oh, the Oscars, something she already kind of knows. They deal with like
Vaguely like
movies
a
and
robot,
genres and
if
science
you could
fiction stuff,
imagine
right?
it. Yeah.
Yeah, so if you name this one Isaac, maybe that's a reference
Yes.
to Isaac Asimov and him being a robot, and it's just this big like sci-fi
It's
Easter egg
it
thing.
makes sense, yes, but this is to illustrate the point. She has seen none of the new Star Wars. I don't think she saw all the prequels. I have no idea what her thoughts are. Every once in a while, we'll like pop quiz her because we know she
Mom,
has
who
like
is Goku?
she's like really spotty knowledge, and we're just curious, like, what have you picked up? And we asked her once, what is the thing's name? And she said, I think it's Ben. We're like, way to go, Mom!
What's his last name?
I don't know. Can you tell me?
It's Grim.
We know, but Mom doesn't know. This is the point. But she knew his first name, and we were very proud of her.
That's
Anyway, so
funny.
she does not approve of Ego the Living Planet, a bad guy in Mom's books. Then I get to the Loki series, and she's like, "Oh, Loki, he really misses the boat on it sometimes. He's not always right." She's,
Yes.
she's so gentle and forgiving about Loki, presumably because he has not murdered countless children.
Debatable. Very debatable. But like, no, like sometimes the best reviews or like takes on stuff
Yes.
is from that kind of perspective,
Mm-hmm.
where it's like someone who doesn't know anything about this stuff and just
Yes.
like,
Yeah.
man, that Loki, he isn't always right.
Loki, not always right, says local retired mom.
Right there, there's a bunch of like Twitter accounts out there. There's like Film Critic Hulk that I
Mhm.
love. It's a fantastic account. Or there's like girlfriend reviews on
Mhm.
YouTube, where it's video game reviews from the perspective of the girlfriend in the same room as her boyfriend plays the game. Like, it's just not actually playing it or paying attention to it, but like, man, this game sure made him mad.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I like some of that stuff is just, it's fantastic. It's so good.
Mhm,
Wholesome
mhm.
content.
Yes, yes, wholesome content. My mom reacting to Marvel Phase 4. And
Yeah.
she's mostly just like, okay, yeah. No, I remember that. Who's Wanda? Oh, okay, Wanda.
Yeah.
Yes. Like it's a lot of that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
So
try it
like,
on my dad and see what he says, because he will have legitimate interest in things, I'll bet.
if I can get my mom to sit down and watch things and she knows it's something that I really like,
Hmm.
um sometimes she will latch on onto it, like she did with the Marvel stuff.
Mhm.
But she's similar to your mom in the sense that she just likes to hang out with the family and do stuff
Yeah.
with the
Yeah.
family. She doesn't really care what we watch all that much.
Mhm.
Like, she's not going to be the one like, oh, we should watch all of the Twilight films or something like that. My mom would never. Um,
Not not for moms.
no, but yeah, if I suggest, oh, we should sit down and watch all of the Marvel Netflix shows, or we should sit down and watch all of all the seasons of The Wire, or something, they'll be like, all right, cool, sure.
Mhm.
But there's certain things, like, I've tried to get her to watch Full Metal Alchemist with me, because again, it was one of those things of like, let's hang out, let's do something
Yes.
together. What is a show that you really like that you can show me, or
Mhm.
something? And so I was like, I'm gonna show you an animated show to teach you that not all cartoons are
Oh,
Tom
right.
and Jerry.
Oh,
I
right,
think
yes.
you and I talked about this a
Yes,
long time
yes.
ago on the
Your
Captain's
mom's
Log.
ideas of, like, video games and cartoons are frozen in, like, 1994 or earlier.
Yeah, or like in the 60s.
Ugh.
Um, and so I was like, here's a cartoon that is very well known for having incredible story, great
Mhm.
characters, great action, like, just like, it has it all. There is something for everyone here. And she just didn't pay attention, didn't care, didn't was like getting up and on the phone texting, and just like, all right, well, if you're not gonna sit here and pay attention, like, I'm gonna go off and do something else. He goes, no, I was paying attention. They're brothers. It's like, yeah, yeah,
Like, oh, mom.
great job, mom. I'm just like, all right, no, let's do something else.
Yeah, my mom does not have the narrative brain that, like, you and I have. I don't know, that's, like, just not a way she processes things,
Sure.
seemingly. So she'll sit down and, like, watch anything I wanna watch, but she's not, like, engaged with it. But
Ah,
my dad will engage with things. He just never wants to watch the same stuff as me. It's Recently, he has been compromising on a movie we
okay.
might both enjoy, which is a tremendous, tremendous
Sure.
benefit.
If you can find something you both like, that's good.
Most of the time he's like, "Well, I had planned to watch this movie. I see you have come over to the house. I'm gonna go ahead and still watch the movie. Hello, daughter. Welcome to the house. You can sit here on the couch next to me. I'm not changing it. No, I planned this Western into my night. It's Western night."
Yeah. I am watching Pale Rider again for the 50th time, and you're gonna like it.
But this no, I went over and did laundry this week. He let me know the movie I'm watching now is over in 40 minutes. And then he's going through the DVR and he picks out a movie and he says, "I think you'd like this. Have you ever seen this? Let me show you the trailer. Do you want to watch it?" Which is like the magic words. This is all I ever need out of my father. What do you want to watch?
There you go.
That's all it
I
takes.
I can get along more with what my dad likes to watch sometimes.
Mhm.
My dad is a big Western fan, which I don't mind.
I
It's
don't think
just
you
not a
moved to
favorite,
Wyoming if you're not a big Western fan.
right? Um, but he also likes action films, but specifically action films with a very like 80s sensibility, but not in the sense of the way things look, more in the like macho man, like,
Oh.
there's no story here, there's no plot, this is
Mm,
just big tough guy with muscles shoots people that are labeled as bad guys.
yes,
And that,
yes.
he loves the Expendables. He loves shit like that, and I'm just like, dad, this is awful. This is
Nuance,
cardboard.
dad.
This is
Yes.
there's no plot here. There's no characters.
Ugh.
I don't even think they have lines with each other. They all just do one-liners.
Has anyone said more than 3 sentences at a time?
You're right. So, but then he'll like something like the like The Wire. And I'm like,
Mhm.
that is a fantastic show.
Yes.
That show is amazing. We can sit down and watch that all day, and I will watch that with you. Or yeah, or they like my mom also likes the Marvel films. My dad also likes the Marvel films. They will each like different
Mm,
ones or different aspects
yeah.
or things about them.
Yeah, I
Um,
people talk about how
so
Marvel has kind of given the world, like, superhero fatigue, and it's kind of, like, warped the way cinema should go. Cinema has been changed thanks to Marvel, but
I don't think it has.
it has given so many families a common ground because there's
Sure.
22 dang movies, and I think, like, real cinema buffs are like, they're all the same, but, like, to the average person, they're all different enough that everybody's gonna like a different one,
Yeah.
and, like, maybe, your mom really liked Doctor Strange because she likes medical dramas, and he's a surgeon at the beginning, and that's what hooked her, and she stayed for the magic things, and
Yeah.
maybe you don't, but, like, you can explain, "Oh, that thing's actually connected to, Guardians of the Galaxy, let me show you," like, everybody
Yeah.
can agree on one Marvel movie, and
Sure.
at 10 years ago, our households did not have this, and it is such an asset.
I think so. I said I don't think the MCU has changed the way cinema is going as much as people think it has.
Mhm.
I think people tried to do the shared cinematic universe, and everyone failed at it. Most of them didn't even get off the ground. Like they didn't even make one of the films in all of that stuff. Um, and so I think people have stopped trying to do that, and they've just let Marvel do their own thing.
Yeah.
Um, and I think yes, there is a formula to these
Mhm.
Marvel films, and I think there is a little bit of fatigue. I think people I remember listening to people like right before Endgame came out, and they were like, "Yes, I am stoked for this film. I'm all in.
Mhm.
I'm super excited, but I know this is also the end of the saga. After
Mhm.
this, I'm done with them. I don't care if they make more. I need to get out."
I
Um,
can understand that, yeah.
but I think what's going to happen is we will what was hoping they were going to do more of in phase 3. I think we're going to kind of start to see more of in phase 4 and 5 is where they start to really go down the rabbit hole in terms of genres of like
Yes!
this is going to
Yes!
be a horror film, this is going to be a kung fu film, this is going to be a spy thriller film,
Mhm.
this like it's not going to be like, oh, here's a superhero movie. It's going to be like, no, this is a horror film.
I cannot wait for us to have our first superhero musical.
Yeah.
Doctor Horrible sing-along blog
I,
notwithstanding. That
I
is a
mean,
blog.
if you count
It's
the
not a
TV
film.
shows, we've already had that. If they did that on the Flash and Supergirl
Oh, they had musical episodes. Okay.
because Grant Gustin was an actor on Glee,
This
and so I think so was Melissa Benoit or Benoist. I don't know how to say her name.
I don't
Um,
keep up on every other Melissa.
but so they had a crossover episode where the bad guy like sucked them into an alternate dimension where everything was done in musicals, and so yeah, it was just an episode long like here's a musical.
But I don't just want a musical episode of a superhero TV show. I want a major in the theaters superhero movie, semicolon, also a musical. It doesn't have to be Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark,
Right.
but it has to be something for me. Please.
if
Just West
if
Side Story, but they're mutants also.
sure, so if we did get that, would that be the thing that you want, or what would your character of choice be?
Oh, well, of course it's Dazzler.
Okay, yeah, sure. Like a disco style musical.
Yes, I want my Dazzler musical in 2031. when
Okay,
disco
okay,
will be back.
okay. She can team up with Starfire in the Titans, and they can be disco queens together.
This is my chosen genre. I would like one. I picked musical.
Yeah, like I wouldn't put it past them at some point,
Mm-hmm.
or having it be not even necessarily a musical, but like the Queen biopic, right? Where it
Yes.
is more of a biopic style film,
Mm-hmm.
but for Dazzler, right? Of how she builds this career working nightclubs and singing, or Black Canary as she's in a
Oh
band
yeah.
and stuff like that. Or if they get more into Spider Gwen, she is also the drummer in a
Oh.
band called the Mary Janes. Um, so yeah, like they could actually do stuff like that. That would be neat. I would like to see them experiment with that stuff. But I guess my point being is once they do start to dip their toes more into the
Mm-hmm.
genre stuff, I think we will start to see less of a fatigue, because
Yeah.
it's not so strict on one formula. They've started to be like, I wouldn't put it past Marvel making a Western film, because Marvel did
Oh,
used to make Western
I
comics
like
before they
that.
did superhero stuff, right?
Dang, Ghost Rider. That's where he can go.
Yeah,
Yeah?
I feel like he would be more like Sons of Anarchy
Am I
style
thinking of
stuff.
Jonah Hex? I'm thinking of
There
Jonah
was a Jonah
Hex.
Hex
But you
movie.
if you really tried, you could make that for Ghost Rider. Just him, but he's on a horse.
Sure, yeah, yeah. Jonah Hex also appears in the DC CW shows. He's in Legends
Oh!
of Tomorrow.
Oh yes, okay. I was
Yeah,
sitting here thinking, when was the last time anybody talked about Jonah Hex?
yeah. I mean, there was a Jonah Hex film
Was that
too. There
also
was an
Josh
actual.
Brolin? Was
I
it?
It might have been.
I think so.
Totally Skelebabones in the chat says 1872. Um,
Aha! Yes.
yeah, or there's the like Marvel 19, the Neil Gaiman one, where it's the Marvel like 1906 or 1902 or something like that. Yeah, like I would love to see them go more into the genre stuff.
Kyle, I have we're getting close to the end here, and I have a
We are.
final talking point to take us out on.
What do you got for me?
There is another Missouri treasure I realize I've neglected to tell you about, and I think it's important you know this. I think it's important everybody knows this. So,
Okay.
there is a restaurant called Lambert's Cafe, and I've only been here once because it is like 3 or 4 hours away. It is in another part of Missouri. Like it's not remotely close to St. Louis. So
Gotcha.
once ever, I have been through this area and have gotten to go to this restaurant, which I think is why I haven't thought about it till now. It is a big family kind of country dining establishment. The place where they have like, pictures of cowboys and like old license plates and like gas
Sure.
lamps and
Yeah.
stuff up on the walls, and like everybody probably calls you sugar. There's a big front porch out in front of the restaurant and a rocking chair. Kind of
Kind of
like
like a
that.
Cracker Barrel, but
Yeah, just sort of
maybe
like
less touristy.
yes, just sort of like a quirky kind of like uh antique smally
Sure.
Cracker Barrel, something
Sure.
akin to that, I suppose. Yes. They have these big rolls, these big bread rolls, as many restaurants do. They get a basket of rolls out on the table. When you go to Lambert's, they throw them at you. Somebody comes
What?
out, somebody comes out with a big cart, and they say, "Okay, who wants a roll?" And you raise your hand, and they pick the roll up in a
Yes.
mist, and they throw it at you.
It's like a free T-shirt at a basketball game.
Yes, and it's
Over here,
good.
over here.
It's good
I
and
want
like fresh
one.
and soft and hot, but not like so hot it hurts to just like grab it, or if it accidentally like hits you in the face or something.
That's
It's
funny.
it's magic. I was only there the one time, but I remember being so good. And if I'm ever in Sykeston again, which who knows, I very well may be. I don't think it's that far from Springfield, Ozarks. I could go down there. Who says I can't? Yeah, I could easily find myself here again, and boy
Dream
howdy would I
big,
love to.
Melissa.
I
Dream
wanna
big.
dream big. Also, I Googled this place to, like, make sure I was remembering it the way I think I'm remembering, because I don't
Mhm.
think I've been here in, like, 12 years at least. One of these photos on the Google image page is captioned "Granddaughter's salad," and it's just a picture of just, like, an alarmed looking, like, teenage girl sitting next to a big salad.
Why?
I It's from a TripAdvisor page. Like, I guess, let's see. Somebody probably wrote about, well, I went to the restaurant and this is the experience I had and this is what we ordered.
We got a big old salad.
My granddaughter got a salad. Please see attached image. Granddaughter's salad. Just got
So,
done with the float trip weekend and decided to stop here and eat. This place is great. They're all friendly and the food was really good and you got plenty. I know we will be going back every chance we get. Too bad it's 5 hours from home. Could be a good thing though if watching wait. I highly recommend going here if you get a chance. The wait was worth it. Oh, there's not even an explanation. And then it's just a photo attached labeled granddaughter's salad. And it's this
so funny.
teenage girl who's just like, ah, ah. It's just really startled,
Grandma, come on.
really uncomfortable, does not want to be in the photo, sitting behind what is a giant salad in a bread bowl that's
It's
like
funny.
the size of her entire head.
So that reminds me of a restaurant called the Mucky Duck out in Florida.
Uh-huh.
There's a lot of restaurants similar to this that do some kind of
Quirk.
gimmicky thing. Yeah,
Yes.
right? Like out in Seattle, there's Dick's, and as the name implies, they are all dicks to you at
Ugh.
the restaurant and stuff like
Bring it
that.
on.
But the Mucky Duck would do a bunch of little small things like that. They had like the deli style ketchup bottles for their condiments that you would that you see at like Subway or
Yeah.
stuff like that, right? And they would have a prank one that had a like a red string inside it
Uh-huh.
instead of ketchup, but it looked like ketchup at the top there. So when they squeezed it, it was this big long string that
Ah,
came out, and they would accidentally squeeze it on you, so you would get hit with this stuff, right?
yes. Classic.
Or if you asked for coffee, they would come out with the saucer and the coffee cup and the like the spoon to stir stuff. But what you wouldn't know is they would thread the spoon within the handle of the coffee cup. So if they acted like they tripped and spilled it, they could hold the saucer in one hand and the spoon in another, and the coffee cup would fall and would catch on the like thick end of the spoon there, but the
Mm-hmm.
cup would be empty. But
Ah.
they would act like you know, like they just tripped and were
I don't know if I
was
want to
about
watch
to
forced slapstick every day.
it's a lot of stuff like that. They would do it every so often. Like you wouldn't always get hit with that, but they did stuff like that. Or when you got there and they asked you, all right, how many? And you're like, there's going to be 4 of us. And they'd ask, would you like to sit by a window? And you'd be like, yeah, sure. Because the restaurant would be like right on the beach. So, you know, like, if I can
Yes.
sit by the window, I can see the beach. It'll be great. It's going to be fantastic. Like, all right, cool. And they will take you and they will sit you in the middle of the restaurant, and they will wheel out a portable window for you and just set it next to you.
Jiminy's.
And they just had a whole bunch of stuff
This
like
is
that,
if this does sound nice, but also I could go to my dad's and get the same caliber of jokes and
right?
food.
It's all dad jokes. It's all dad jokes, and it's
My
fantastic.
dad's a really
So,
good cook. Why not just go home?
good stuff. Well, that about wraps us up for
Yeah.
this week. A little bit of keeping before you all get out of here, though. Last week on the Captain's Log, we talked all about the Marvel Phase 4 announcements in detail. If you guys want to go check that out, you guys absolutely should. One of our other podcasts, The Review Show, we just did an episode on Season 1 of Titans on the DC Universe app, and that was episode 68. So this week is episode 69. Giggity,
Yes.
giggity. And we are covering a comic book called Sex Criminals. We are reading volumes 1 and 2 of that, so you guys should absolutely read along and come check that out. That should be out very soon here. We're recording it this Sunday, and it'll be out this next week. We also just recorded another episode of the Reactor Core.
Yeah, this one was fun.
Yeah, all about the Netflix show Money Heist, which is a Spanish, I would say Netflix original show, but it's not necessarily original. They bought the rights and then re-edited it. But it is a fantastic crime show. It is a heist show, and I absolutely love it. But Melissa, you had not seen it.
Oh, not a second of the thing.
I got to talk your face off
Yep.
for 2 hours almost and explain why it is so fantastic. So you guys should go check out all of that stuff. We are at thewhatnauts.com is where you can find all of that stuff, or you can just search The Whatnauts wherever you find your podcasts, and all of our shows will pop up there. And if you like what we do, patreon.com/thewhatnauts is where you can support us. At the $1 tier, you get episodes early. You get access to the live streams of the review show. And at the $3 tier, you get all of our exclusive content. And we have one of those coming up real soon here. I think we're going to be recording it this next week.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell them a bit about that stuff? Sure.
Yes.
Go ahead.
We are going to be reading the Superman comic for the man who has everything. And this is like an annual number.
Superman Annual 11.
Thank you. You're the numbers guy. This is written by Alan Moore, illustrated by Dave Gibbons.
Correct.
This is the team from Watchmen, and they are doing a story where it's Superman's birthday, and so Batman, Wonder Woman, bunch of the Justice League come over to give him something, and they're all being trapped by which villain is this again?
Mongol.
What does Mongol even do? I guess I'm gonna find out. I haven't read this yet. I'm very excited to, because this is a title I've been hearing for as long as I've been trying to get into comics. So it is prestigious. I'm very intrigued to find out what it is. And there is a corresponding episode of Justice League Unlimited, episode 2, that it adapts the story. So you're going to be reading the comic and watching that episode.
Compare and contrast.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be good. It's going to be fun. So again, that's all at patreon.com/thewhatnauts. And we also want to give a big shout out to all of our patron supporters at the $5 tier. Thank you to Sam and Christine for making of this possible. You guys are fantastic. Anything else? Go like, share, subscribe. That's it. Episode 61. We are done. Melissa, where can they find you on the internet?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Wilkywit. That's WILKYWIT.
And I am at YoKyleSpringer on Twitter and Instagram, and we are at The Whatnauts on Twitter if you want to keep up with us there. We will see you guys next week. Adios, guys.
Bye.
All right. Thank you guys so much for checking out that episode of The Captain's Log. We made 61 episodes. That's a lot. Good stuff. Go like, share, subscribe. Go subscribe to our channel up in that corner up there. I was going to say down there, but that doesn't make sense. Go watch the video down there because we have a whole bunch of other podcasts that you guys might like to check out. And I was gonna give you something to put in the comments below, but if you were immortal, what would your outfit be? What outfit would you wear? That's what I want to know down below. And with that, we'll see you next time.